Okay, Aries. I started doing this reading. I have to tell you what I did. Planning out Aries, doing the Aries reading. And the first part, I almost got through a lot of it. I thought it was Aquarius, but it's you. I'm sorry. There's no particular reason why this is coming out so late. It's more of just personal life, personal things. A lot is changing. And I'm guessing you are also under a big decision that you're having with yourself and that you may have been having for a while. And now Taurus season is kind of showing you, like it's showing everyone, that the true, real spring appears a lot more fluffy than it is. It's like healing. It's like what some people in our culture, and I don't have anyone in mind, I just know that this happens out there, that there's a lot of fluff, and that's okay. Like, that's where people are. But like Taurus knows, like the spring knows innately, and it just shows us, it's within our ability to see it and understand it, that, and this is something I've been saying to clients lately, friends, myself, that when spring comes, we're also grieving winter. And you do the first pull, then Taurus has to carry the weight through. So this season may have felt like you came into it and you hit a brick wall because you've done so much, whether both internally and externally last month during that fiery time. And now fixed earth is like, okay, time to make a decision. It's funny because when I started the other video, the cards were taking so long to come out, and then I realized, oh, I'm doing the wrong reading. I already did that one. So I want to tell you that because you may have done something already and you think you need to redo it, but you don't. You actually just need to move on, like a sage, like the magician. You need to take what decision that you're making and kind of turn it into your favor. What do I mean by that? Well, let's look at the cards. We have the Page of Cups, the King of Wands, and the Two of Swords. You know what you're capable of. And it's really important that you don't accept an offer until you take a look and reflect at your life and what you're capable of. I come up against this a lot through my life the past few years, and as I continue to move forward. Life experience is nothing compared to a piece of paper. Both amazing. Only the piece of paper, you're great, glad you have it, but where's the experience? So that's just me. And I'm not downing anyone who goes to school or goes and gets those pieces of paper. It's, hey, if that's what you want to do, cool. That is all the cards are pieces of paper, beautiful artwork. I don't want to make it seem like it's just all that they are. It's not. It's just that you need to know that soaring to heights with no true structure in the world as we move forward, as you know, it's not going to last. So when you're offered something this month, make sure you, and all you've done, and all you've been, and all of who you are now, is making that decision. That might feel like a little heavy. That also might feel like it might put you into a box and you feel trapped. That's what the Two of Swords is telling me. the King of Wands here, let me show you again. And you'll see as when we look at the cards, is the in-between of this offer and making you feel that way. It's really important that in deals, dealing with yourself, business deals, dealing with relationships, it's all the same. It's just spoken different language, and it's using a different side of yourself depending on who you are, or maybe a little bit of this and a little bit of that, a little more over here, a little more over there. It's like a recipe. It's really important for you to remember that that's what's standing in between those two things. So it's you who has to decide to take a step back or pause the contract. And make sure that, though, you decide before Mercury goes into retrograde at the end of the month. Mercury just moved into Gemini, so it's, you know, you could feel like you need to make this decision now, or like you don't know what to do, or impulse, or this or that. And it's just really important that when you feel that, you go with your true nature, with how you want to do things. All right. And respond. It's very important for you to respond right now in terms of everything we've been leading up to with you. The Magician is really pulling me in the sense of you have everything that you need for Taurus season to be the canvas that you create upon. And that's starting with how you deal with yourself. That all starts with how you respond and what you create from yourself right now, and how you decide to have those, whatever that is, those conversations with yourself, those personal creations with yourself, how you're going to decide to approach business, or these things with yourself before anyone else. Because for some of you, you might have to decide to move on from a relationship that you may have thought was going to work out, and it could be a Sagittarius. And you realize that you possibly made the wrong decision. So don't, with a partner, if you're with a partner or partnered with a Sagittarius or with someone who you're not sure about, the more that you sit back into this, I know who I am, I know where I'm at kind of place, the more that offer is going to seem like, are you really trying to make a fool out of me? Because I'm the fool, and I know I am, Aries, but I'm not gonna allow you to make me be the fool. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important for how you to decide how this ends and how this begins. And for most of you, that is a relationship, a romantic relationship. You're deciding. It's really important that you not allow anyone else to decide this. Because if they're saying one thing and doing another, it's just not going to, you're going to sit back in a few months and be like, I can't believe I allowed that decision to be made. Where was I? What was I doing? Like, what's actually going on? A lot of cards just fell out. And it's really important for you to remember that in order to create strong and healthy boundaries, or make really hard decisions, or not be overbearing mother even on yourself or anyone around you, you need rest, because that's what's in between these. Rest. Especially if you've been ignoring that fact, Taurus season is a great time to rest, because through that rest and through that space, you don't have to think about the decisions. You don't have to think about anything. You can allow yourself to absorb what's going on around you, within you, what's moving through you, and then in the perfect moment, you'll decide. And even upon that moment of saying that decision out loud, or to whomever you need to say it to, even if it's yourself, you still can change your mind, because you are it seems like you really want to make the right decision. And you will. Either decision you make for yourself is the right decision and will always lead you back into, not even back, but towards wherever you're going anyway. And that's what you innately know. Is so you. So rest, especially if you're not willing to listen, because that will help you listen. Resting is your way and your consciousness's way, your brain's way of listening to your body, which is innately your nature. The body never lies. It's truth. It doesn't lie to you. It may take a moment to get back to the, to homeostasis, but the body always will lead you to that if you listen. So especially if you don't want to hear what others are saying right now, it's better to just rest and be with yourself instead of, taking this out on anyone else or, saying something before you're ready. You'll know when you're ready. Your heart will tell you, you'll listen to it, and you'll clearly state what you need and what you want. And when you do that, and whether the way you find out, so you can even talk to yourself, this is what I want, write it down, talk to yourself, do whatever you need to do. And then you'll start to see if that person or the situation is giving you those things or meeting those things or they're not. Then you get to decide whether or not you want to communicate that or if you just want to walk away. And how you want to do that. But I would wait. This month is about allowing yourself to breathe and be with everything before you make quick decisions. But you want to make them before Gemini season starts. So before the 20th. I know this is coming out a little late, but definitely let yourself sit with it, but then make those decisions before then. Because Mercury is going retrograde the 29th. So definitely before then. Okay, we'll look at the cards. There's a few more cards that fell out that I will show you when we look. The extended reading will be posted after, so check back if you already look at this and the Patreon link isn't there, where I go through the cards even more in depthly and we look towards the month or two. That's how it's been going. It's a new thing. It shows you kind of how I read, and if you want to book a reading with me one-on-one, my website is below as well, and my IG link too. Bye, Aries. And you got this. I love you. Okay. Hi, Aries. So, before I show you the other cards that fell out, I want to very clearly show you this. And even more insight came to me too, and always does when I do this side. So, this decision is a lot easier when you take out who you have been. And I know that's not always easy to separate, but what I mean is that death, whether it's a part of us that's dying, someone else that's dying, winter that's dying, a season, it's important. The ending's important. It's just like a story. Why is the ending important? Because it's a very foretelling of how the future and the next part, the next chapter, the next story, the next relationship, how and where and what that base is based off of, the foundation essentially. So your decision or indecision comes from maybe even being gaslit a little bit. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's just really clear to me that there's something that you're not seeing about someone, and it's coming out now the more that you stand still. And it's possible that this, whatever happened here, so this could also be a death. And again, this ending is making you very still in this moment, or in this time, in this Taurus season, which is a perfect way to be. And it's actually causing you to really go back, because doing this will only make it come back again. Doing this will allow you to learn from it and grow. And if this person thinks he's this person, is not really that person, but it's really this person, you need to be able to see that regardless of what and who these other people are, regardless of what they say. You need rest to clear your mind. There might be a part of you that understands, and then the other part of you that wants to be very clear, concise, and cut it off. And when you're entangled in things, it's not that simple, is it? It can be. You just have to deal with whatever you're walking away from and whomever. This is a very clearly you thing that only you can decide, regardless of who else is in the situation. And I know that you want to have compassion, and you obviously want to blend these things together. Well, that's it. The rest. Don't do something just because you feel like you have to. That doesn't always change things. Doing doesn't always change things. It's the combination between how you're doing it and what you're doing that's most important in this time right now. And what fell out was the King of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, the Four of Wands, the Knight of Cups. And we'll get more into that into the extended, but this is a little preview, because it's very clear that it could be an earth sign, but also this very stubborn person doesn't want to change their ways. And you want to create a life. And you'll have to deal with it, the fact that they don't want to change their ways. Unconditional love isn't about changing anyone. You also understand that you can bring your cup elsewhere, and you're coming to that realization of like, oh, if this person doesn't want the same thing as me, then, well, maybe I'll just go somewhere else. Maybe there I will be appreciated. Maybe it's about putting it all into my passion and creativity. Cancer and Venus. That's moving through Venus soon. And we will get there soon. But just know that this person is holding on to something and doesn't look like they're willing to give up this party life and feeling like they have something when they're only holding on to minimal. And with you, they could have it all. And you can't control someone, Aries. You can give ultimatums if you want, but you know how that turns out. So it's ultimately, this is only you know what to do. Make sure you do not converse this with people who cannot make this decision for you, because then and when it comes down to it, who are you going to blame? Yourself, right? Because you listened to someone else, and that's really important for you to know right now. So if you feel like being still and quiet, be still and quiet. Okay? And maybe stay away from people who amp you up when it's not good for you, when you're healing. So much more. We'll get into the extended right now. I love you, and you got this. All the information to work with me below is below, and I will see you next month.